Welcome back to another episode of Past Millie's Point. But before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Let's get to the point. So today I got a very special episode for you. I am going to talk about some of the things that I'm expecting to see in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but to think that today I'm actually off. It comes out today, 4 hours long. Nobody's home, it's raining outside, there's nothing to do but sit down on the couch for 4 hours and watch this movie. So I'm going to talk about some things that I expect to see or some of the wants that I have in it, and then I will do a part after I watch it and talk about what I thought of the whole movie. So obviously one of my biggest wants is the Green Lantern to show up, and not just like a little passerby cameo, somebody to actually play a Green Lantern. I'm really excited. I'm hoping he shows up, or even Martian Manhunter. I hope Martian Manhunter shows up. Something else that I'm really looking forward to is more Ben Affleck Batman. Now, I know a lot of people aren't the hugest fans of Ben Affleck's Batman, but I was. I think that the fight scene in Batman v Superman in the warehouse where he goes and saves Martha Kent, I think is one of the best Batman fight scenes out there, because it's the closest thing that we have to the Arkham games, and I want to see more of it. I thought Zack Snyder, he basically capitalized on that perfectly. So I want to see more of that. I want to see more of Ben Affleck's Batman. Something that I hope that they don't do is another stupid like Martha scene.
Why did you say that name? Martha, why did you say that name?
Stop! Please, stop!
Why did you say that name?
Where, you know, it's just like a word that stops people from fighting. I also believe that we're going to see Darkseid probably before the third act. I feel like they advertised Darkseid too much for him to just be like at the end of the movie. I feel like he's going to be in it quite a bit. I mean, you got to think, for 4 hours, that's a long movie. But you also have to think too, Zack Snyder, the way he does his movies, if you've seen Batman v Superman, and personally, I've just for the first time ever watched Man of Steel.
What?
Which I thought was pretty good. There's a lot of dialogue in it, and not as much action, I think, as there could be. And I got a feeling that that's why this movie is 4 hours long. There's going to be a lot of dialogue, so it might be a little slow. I'm hoping it's better than what Josh Whedon put out, because that was absolutely garbage. But I hope they make Superman a little bit better. I also am glad that there's probably going to be no CGI mustache away move that they did in Justice League. So this way, Henry Cavill won't look weird. I'm interested to see kind of what they're going to do with like Cyborg. I feel like Cyborg can be a bigger part of the actual story itself. And obviously everybody loves the Flash. I'm kind of interested to see how they portray the Flash and what he does, because I know Iris West is in the movie. Don't know for how long, if it's just a little cameo or something like that, but I'm looking forward to kind of the way Zack Snyder's vision for each character comes out, because it's going to be a lot different. But like I said, I'm solely hoping for a lot more Batman. I'm a humongous Batman fan, and I think the way they kind of portrayed him in Batman v Superman at the end of the fight with Doomsday was kind of dumb. Like he was like a little bitch hiding constantly. That's literally not Batman at all. And then also too, like he was kind of like trying to be funny in the Justice League, and that's also really not Batman. So we'll see what happens. I'm really excited to watch this movie. It's like 11 o'clock right now. And like I said, it's raining outside, so there's nothing to do. I'm going to sit down, watch this movie. I am going to do a review afterwards, and then I will try and get this up as fast as I can.
Eventually.
All right, so we're back. I just finished 4 hours of Justice League Snyder Cut. Obviously, you can tell by my hair, I've been laying down on this couch for 4 hours. Let me start with, if I was going to pick a Justice League, which one would I pick? I'm obviously going to say Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was by far better than Josh Whedon's Justice League. Do I believe that it needed to be 4 hours long? No way. Absolutely not. There was a scene in there where they talk to Aquaman, and then these kids start singing when he jumps in the water, and that goes on for like 30 seconds, and I'm like, why is this even in the fucking movie? I know it's like art, perspective, and all that stuff, and you know, one thing about Snyder is very good with the dialogue and like building the world, but it's also very slow, and it takes a lot of time. And I understand that's why it was 4 hours long. And there are scenes that I enjoyed, his perspective of building the world. But what I didn't like is it just takes so long to actually really get going. I mean, you got to think it's broken down into 6 parts with an epilogue also. So there's an epilogue portion of this movie that really I wasn't aware of. I just thought it was 6 parts. And for me, it's not terrible, but it's something that I'll probably watch one time in my entire life, and that's probably going to be it. I also didn't really enjoy that they left it at 4:3 aspect ratio, so when you start the movie, it says to not hinder Zack Snyder's artistic craft, or whatever you want to call it. They left it in the 4:3 aspect ratio. I mean, for some people it doesn't matter, but I mean, dude, I got a big TV. I don't want it where I got black bars on each side. That's not why I have a big TV. I know this movie was meant to be seen in the theater, but I wasn't a big fan of that. Now, I can tell you a couple things that I really did like about the movie. Number one, the introduction to Barry Allen and the Flash is just so much better done than what Joss Whedon did. I mean, it's incredibly different, but also very, very, very entertaining. And he personifies that Barry Allen from the comics a little bit more to me. And Cyborg was in this movie way more than I actually expected him to be in, which is actually really good. He basically is a huge anchor to this movie, and he was great. His storyline was amazing, and the way they built his character up was pretty cool. Now, something else that I don't know, maybe I just misheard or misread something, but I thought I had read or heard somewhere that he was not going to use any scenes that were in that original Justice League film. I guess I was wrong, because there are some scenes that seem to be exact scenes from the other movie. Maybe they add something to it or take something out, but like when Wonder Woman saves the kids at the bank, that's almost like a replica scene of the first movie. I understand the guy's doing a 4-hour movie. It's not like they gave him time to reshoot a whole entire 4-hour movie. So I'm sure there's pieces that he had to use, but I just didn't like reading about him not using it. And then I guess I don't know what I expected. I expected it to all be fresh. I guess that's a fault of my own. Now, something else I can tell you is I had extremely high hopes for this movie, and I think it fell short for me. Maybe I just had too high of hopes for the movie. Now, don't get me wrong. I thought it was decent, but like I said, it's a 4-hour movie. It's not a movie that I'm going to watch probably again in my life. And then you think about the other Justice League, I'll never watch that one. So I have 2 Justice League movies that I'll probably never watch again. Now, the last 2 parts, part 5 and 6 of it, was probably the best. That's the most action, the most stuff going on, where they're finally coming together to try and stop Steppenwolf and to try and stop Darkseid from coming to Earth to get the anti-life equation. To me, this anti-life equation matter was pretty cool, because it's just like the comic books. And I did say earlier in the video that I thought we would see Darkseid before the final act, which I was right. We saw Darkseid, but it was more of like a flashback. But I mean, it was still cool to see. I mean, you got to see a couple other characters that weren't in the original flashbacks in this one. That was kind of cool to see. I don't want to spoil too much of the movie, because people probably will end up watching it. And there are cool things, and the fight scenes are a little bit different. But I mean, one thing they did leave in there is when they brought Superman back, which I have another problem with that. Superman isn't in it till, I get it, more than halfway, but it's almost similar to the last movie. Also, the end fight scene in that little like Russian town or whatever, just like it was in the first movie. I don't know if it was me remembering it wrong, but I could have sworn in the first one that Joss Whedon's end scene had this like weird red tint to the whole town, which I wasn't really a fan of. And this one did not, and I liked it. It's more visually pleasing to me, so I enjoyed that a little bit more. But I guess what I could say is right now there's probably going to be a decent spoiler alert. So if you want to finish the video after you watch the movie, go ahead and do that. But I can tell you that the epilogue part was pretty cool because you get to see them all kind of like spread out and do their own thing, obviously, which is normally how these superhero movies go. But it transitions back into the nightmare like area and scene, and you have Batman, Cyborg, Slade Wilson, played by Joe Manganiello, Mara, and the Joker, all together trying to stop Superman. Now, it doesn't go into great detail of what's going on, but there is a pretty good exchange where Mira, I guess Arthur is killed, and Mira says something to Batman like, how do you know what it's like to lose someone you love? Well, then the Joker starts talking, and him and Batman have this heated exchange, which is really, really cool. Harley Quinn gets a name drop. The Boy Wonder gets a name drop, which I thought was pretty cool. And just to see Jared Leto on screen acting as the Joker for more than 2 seconds was pretty cool. And I was reading somewhere that supposedly if they were going to do a second movie, it would all take place in this nightmare sequence, which is also similar to like Injustice, which is number one, a comic I love and a game I absolutely adore. I could play that game forever. But that epilogue part was pretty cool, and then it turns out that it's just a dream. But I forgot, the Flash is also in that, and he has that headgear from when Batman v Superman, where he shows up saying something to Batman. But turns out it's a dream. Batman wakes up, and the Martian Manhunter shows up. So I knew there was either a Green Lantern or a Martian Manhunter, or Martian Manhunter was going to show up. And we get Martian Manhunter, and he talks, and he's ready to join the Justice League and help with Darkseid when he's going to return. And I'm so sad because we'll probably never see what blossoms with this unless all of a sudden the Snyder Cut just fucking blows everything out of the water on streaming services, and they're just like, hey, we got to give this guy money to film another movie. The only problem is I don't think you're going to get all these actors to come back, but who knows, maybe you will. I don't know. It just depends on the amount of money they can spend. All in all, I'd probably give the movie a 6 out of 10. And like I said, the runtime really kills me, man. Who has time to sit down and watch a 4-hour movie? Not many people. I mean, you got to think of people with kids, for example. My cousin, he's not going to be able to sit through that movie. He might not be able to finish that whole entire movie for a month just because he has a kid and a job and he's doing other things in his life. You know, people just don't have time to sit in front of the TV for 4 hours, let alone go to the movies for 4 hours. So I just don't understand why they let it come out 4 hours long. I mean, I don't know. There's people out there who love Zack Snyder, and I'm not saying he's bad. Like I said, he's got a pacing issue, and he loves slow-mo shots. Don't hate on slow-mo shots, but there's a little bit too many of them inside the movie, and the pacing is just slow. You know, you're not going to get someone who's into action movies to really get into this movie. I wanted to watch this with my wife. She would definitely not be into it. It's too slow for her. So, would I recommend you taking a look at it? Sure. But are you missing anything? Not really. My best advice for you is you can watch the epilogue and just tie it back into the other Justice League movie, and it'd probably be more than enough to really know what's going on. But other than that, that's my little review on the Justice League Snyder Cut. Video's over, guys. Have a good day.